3 long days, some I don't know. It takes a little more than what you show, and that's yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
Recording from Cub Content Studios. Welcome to Bobby Finn Knows Everyone, a Pull Tab Sports production. I am your host, Bobby Finn, born and bred on St. Paul's East Side, where it was all about looking out for each other, blue-collared hard work, and telling like it is. Oh, we got a little spirit here. No BS, and that's what you're going to expect on our podcast. East Side Straight Talk in a world that's gone a little sideways. We got a very special show today, but with me, as always, Tommy Lord. How are you?
I'm good, Bobby.
Hosting, as always, Chris Salazar. What's up, Sally?
What's up, yo?
Yeah, and we got a cool Halloween special today. We got Greg Bakun. He's GhostBox Radio, AM 950. And so we did a little tour of our haunted facility, and we got some spirits lighting up these little machines. It was pretty cool. But Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me on.
It's been an experience, to say the least.
You didn't expect it, did you?
No, I had to pound about 5 drinks before I got down there. And,
right?
Telling those, spirits, hey,
it's amazing.
Leave me alone, man.
You never know what you're going to get doing this.
No, you do not. But yeah, it was fun, wasn't it?
Super fun. Yeah, and now we've got spirits lighting up our Pull Tab Studios sign.
Yeah.
Now, seriously, someone did that, though, right?
I hope so.
The remote's over there.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Get me out of here.
Actually, the remote's sitting on my desk right here, so, and I didn't do it.
Get me out of here.
Freaking me out now. I don't want to.
Oh, God. Yeah, so we got a real live radio host in our studio today being interviewed. AM 950, GhostBox Radio.
I'm like, where?
Yeah, you, buddy.
Where is that?
You, man. So, I mean, Greg, I've known you for a little bit. And now all of a sudden you've got your own radio show. You're doing it on a real live radio broadcast.
I saw that you had a podcast. I'm like, this is BS. I'm not going to let him get the better of me. So I worked my way up from delivering the mail in the station and,
George Jefferson.
Yep.
Yeah. Good for you, dude. So wait a minute now. How'd you get involved in this? Are you just like you love ghost stories? You love it all? Or how did it happen?
It's... a lot of people when they start out, from a young age, they'll have like paranormal experiences and stuff, and it's been with them their whole lives. And honestly, that's not me. It's more of I remember one specific one when I was like 4, and honestly never gave it any thought ever since. And probably around the time that we were still at Best Buy, I started watching some of these shows that are on Travel Channel and stuff, and they use this device called the spirit box, and I'm like, okay. And I watched it because I wanted to be scared. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest. That's not how I do things anymore. But back then, it's like, ooh, I want to be scared. I don't know what I think about this. The idea of you're watching these shows and you see like a green tint or a blue tint or whatever, that's night vision. They're seeing nothing. They're seeing black. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. We can watch it. I thought that was interesting. But then the spirit box, I heard them getting real-time responses, and I'm like, if this is real, and I'm not sure if it is, but if this is real, I'm interested in this. And then I went over and I worked for an ad agency in downtown Minneapolis, and we were in the Wyman building, and they had what was called a creepy basement. Mm-hmm. And I had a friend that worked there, and he worked remotely, so he wasn't always there. He worked out of Texas, and he said, next time I'm back, let's get a spirit box. Let's go down there. Let's record it and just see what happens. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for it. So I went to that really sacred paranormal store called Amazon, and I went there and I got a spirit box. And he comes the next time he comes back up. We go downstairs. I have camera equipment. At Carmichael Lynch, I was post-production producer, so we had all this camera and stuff to use. And went downstairs. I had no idea what they were using. Like, it was night vision, so I just had cameras, regular cameras in the dark. So what do we get when you do that? Just dark.
Yeah.
That was real smart. Well-earned position being post-production producer there. So we go into the creepy basement. Where we were today is much creepier than what that was. But we called it such, and turn on the spirit box. And if you saw it today, I had like an external speaker. We didn't have one. We just had the one that was on the spirit box. Turn it on, and we're like, can we get a name, please? Nate. Clear as day.
Clear.
Just Nate. And Jeff and I just stare at each other, and it's like, do you have a last name? Lund. Like, okay, this is interesting. Then it was, what year were you born? And we got a number, but I don't think it was a year. It's just a number. But it's like, okay, anyone else want to talk to us? This female comes on, and she goes, hello. And then nothing really after that. And we did some other stuff down in the basement. We had another camera set up in an area that there was actually light. And we got what we call a disembodied voice. A guy just going, oh.
Come on.
Right? So we go upstairs in the top where, which eventually was turned into an edit suite, but at the time was a meeting room where people are like, stuff happens in here all the time. And it's really, it's pretty creepy being in here. So we go in there. We have the spirit box going again. And I said, my name is Greg. This is Jeff. Can you say Greg and can you say Jeff? And right away, Greg, Jeff.
God.
And this is all recorded.
Yeah.
This isn't stuff that was like, yeah, you'll never be able to hear it. Oh, well. It's like, no, this is all stuff that we recorded and I still have. And it was incredible. And I was hooked ever since because, like we were downstairs today for about 20 minutes, right?
Yep.
We got some stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's award-winning, but we got some stuff. It was pretty interesting. But I had found that I had an affinity with that equipment. And that equipment isn't just me turning it on and asking for stuff. It's me actually trying to bring them forward, spirits forward, and try to talk to them.
Yep.
I meant to hand out the tinfoil hats that we need to wear when we talk about this stuff, but
But really, honestly, I mean, a lot of people aren't believers, right? So they would say, "Are you are you like a tarot card or somebody that?"
I am a tarot card in disguise as a human being.
But are you a reader? Or are you just
medium?
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
is he
medium?
fake? Right. I mean, are you a magician that you can press a couple buttons and the thing goes?
It's interesting because I think more people believe than they let on. The best are when you get people who are skeptical, and they'll come up to me. I get them all the time, and they're not rude. They're just like, I just want to let you know I'm a skeptic. Oh, okay, all right. I'm not here to try to force my beliefs on you or anything like that. And then they'll pause, and they'll be like, but there was that one time.
Right.
And that one time is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is like, yeah, and the one time the house picked up off of the foundation and it moved a little bit and came back down. And
That was Twister.
Yeah. Right. Well, and I'm just like, okay, maybe it's not quite that, but it is like just unbelievable. And you're like, really? He goes, yeah. And you're still a skeptic. Yeah. And then there's a pause again. And it's like, and then there was that other time. It's like, what does it take, really, honestly, for you to believe? I mean,
Greg, have you ever had a non-believer leave one of your tours or sessions or whatever it is?
You left tonight, Sal, because you were so scared shitless. You had to run for it.
I was scared before we went down there. I'm not going to lie. But have you ever turned anybody, a non-believer, into like, okay, yeah, I actually...
Yes. And the thing is, it's like, I don't say that they're like, I get it. I'm a believer, but you'll get people, and generally they're going to be pretty cautious about it, and they're going to be like, I can't explain what happened tonight, but something did happen tonight. And that's, I don't like have a little scoreboard where I'm like, yes, another one. It's just like, well, okay, if you want to do this again. So
Okay. Wow. All right. So if you're following along, we did go downstairs in the basement, and got out. Was it a spirit box? Is that what you call it? Okay. Got out the spirit box, and we, Greg and I know each other, and that's why we asked you to come out today. But you guys were here a year ago.
yeah.
2023 Halloween.
Yep.
Your own special on AM 950, and
Yep.
again, it's GhostBox Radio on AM 950. And you guys, when I was listening to it, I was like, wow. So I was like, Greg said, yeah, I haven't been all over Stillwater, but I have investigated one place. It's called the Grand Garage. And I go, holy shit, we're in the Grand Garage.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
That is crazy.
We are broadcasting from the Grand Garage, and you guys were all over the Grand Garage a year ago.
Yeah.
You're in the Tiki Bar,
Yep.
which is, if you've ever been to Stillwater, there's a nice little Tiki Bar downstairs.
Yep.
There's 2 staircases, which I guess had a lot of energy to
Yep.
them.
Yep.
And there's also there's a locale makers market.
Yep.
And that local makers market where you found the most activity, correct?
We set up because we set up cameras, and we did the broadcast from Midwest Witchery and their new space at that time, which had just like a nice little kind of macabre looking sort of backdrop to it that seemed perfect for us. So we didn't do anything in there. But then you go out and there's like that little ramp. It goes that we set up a camera there. We set up cameras in the Maker Mark. We set up cameras in the Tilted Tiki, and yeah, the locale Maker's Mark had a lot of like stuff happen.
Yeah.
And at one point, which was pretty incredible, because we had Adam, who does the show with me Wednesdays and Friday. He runs the board on at AM 950. He was back at the station in Eden Prairie. Shar Savoy, who does a lot of paranormal stuff with me, we teach classes and stuff. She was here at the Tilted Tiki, and she was live on the air. We had her on. She was telling what's going on, and she was able to get equipment to go off in the back room of the Maker's Market. And then she says, can you also turn on some equipment over at in Eden Prairie where Adam is? Suddenly, the REM pod that we had downstairs, that went off.
Yeah.
And Adam
in Eden Prairie.
in Eden
Oh,
Prairie.
Eden Prairie.
Shut up.
And the best part is Adam, who is a great guy, let's just say he scares easily. And he's just, I mean, we've had guests on the show before, and he'll come back on later and say, I had to sleep with the lights on.
Yeah.
I mean, because some of the stuff is pretty heavy. Our topics can be very heavy. This week alone, we talk about exorcism. We talk about demonic possession. All the light stuff. And it's just what the show is about. And people won't listen at night because it scares them. The show's on at 10, goes to 11. They have to listen the next day when they're either driving or have lights on.
Yeah.
We don't try to scare people.
Right.
I mean, not often.
Do you scare easily? Do you get scared? Like, we were downstairs in the basement of this building, okay? And this building was in 1860s, 70s was built. It was the creepiest basement I've ever been in. But you just walk down. Were you scared today? Or
No,
did you
not at all.
Get scared?
Not
No,
at all.
Okay.
No, I did get scared Saturday. We went to, and I'm going to talk about this on my show because it was so incredible that we went out because it's also for us about Bigfoot. It's about aliens.
Oh, yeah, you guys do. Okay. Oh, dang. We'll have to have you on another time to talk about this.
And we went out to a location in the Twin Cities in a very woodsy location to see, because we believe that if you don't have your tinfoil hats on, put them on now. We believe that Bigfoot is more interdimensional than like an animal that just we haven't been able to find.
Oh, Bigfoot's intergalactic.
Interdimensional.
Okay, he's not
for
going
God's sake, it's interdimensional.
Sorry, he's not going to Jupiter and back.
No,
he's
no, it's just-
interdimensional.
So he's smart?
Yeah, and especially
crosses
Like
over.
Chewbacca.
if you will, because it's more of like energies and stuff.
Yeah.
So, Greg, were you not touched by a Sasquatch? Let's be honest.
Let's be honest, absolutely.
Oh my
What?
God.
For,
Was, was it above the belt or below the belt?
Thankfully above.
Okay. God, I wish I was below the belt.
Unlucky.
Well, I mean, you would prefer it being a better story, wouldn't it? I'm not playing into your hand.
Did ya or didn't ya?
All right. So, are these furry creatures like massive ape baboon?
They're certainly 7 feet plus.
Yes, but you think they're interdimensional? They go back and forth between
I do.
dimensions.
I do.
Okay.
And when it comes to like what we saw like I saw one in West Point, Kentucky, and it butted right up to Fort Knox. And then the next day we're out in Indiana, and that's where I was touched. We had a guy by the name of Greg Yost who calls them. He looks like a Sasquatch. He has like the long beard and the long hair, and he's just like, dude, all right, we're calling the Sasquatch. You know, just this incredible. And you think to yourself, oh, come on.
Right.
He
plays the part, right?
He plays the part. You're just like, because he sits there and he's just like, my forest friends, come out. And you're just like.
He's like, Greg, his buddy, he's like, I hope they touch me below the belt.
Next thing you know, all these lights start going on in the forest. And what those are is called eye shine. And it's their eyes. And it's not like cats where it's a reflective thing. They actually light up and they're different colors. They're not lightning bugs. It's incredible. And so he's talking, and I'm at the end of the line in this forest, and all of a sudden I get this hand on the back of my head and lifts off. You can't mistake it. I mean, it's not like a little bit. It's like this big, massive hand on the back of your skull, and it leads off. And I'm like, Greg, I think I was just touched by one. And he just looks at me and goes, that means they like you.
Seriously. So you started out as pretty much like kind of not guessing your way through it, but you were just kind of like, I don't know, let's try it out. Now, do you feel like you've fully converted? Is that a bad term?
I'm invested.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you'll never know everything to do with the field. But I mean, it's not like a hobby. It's a way of life for me.
Okay.
It's you know, people will call us to go and help them remove spirits from their house or find out what's going on there. And that's kind of what we do. We also do some events and whatnot. So yeah, we're totally invested with it. I mean, if I'm reading a book, it's going to be a paranormal book more than likely.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm watching something, it may not be the TV shows, but it might be like a documentary on something.
Okay, so now since we're on this topic, you went right to Sasquatch, which is different than, you know, ghosts in a basement of a building, which now I have creepies on the back of my neck.
And they'll be watching you from now on.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
for that. I appreciate it.
More audio.
So good.
Well, it's yeah. You know, I mean, those are questions that everybody wants to hear.
Well, you know, there are spirits that are known to be in this. It says a lot by their names, succubus and incubus, that are known for they're not demons per se, but they're darker energies that people say will basically rape the living. And that's what they're there for, is for sex, and they will go after. And I had a friend who
Is that sex dreams?
Is there a female version?
well, so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's one is female and one's male, succubus and incubus. And I'm trying to remember because I think succubus is female and incubus is because I think it lines up.
Makes sense.
If you get my drift. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and a friend of mine, she said that she was dogged by this spirit like that for years, and you know, you talk to her about it, and she gets very upset about it. So there's something about that you know. Luckily, I've never experienced it. I mean, just like in life, they all stay away from me, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, it's interesting.
I hear you. God. Okay, so Greg, we got to do this. We got to thank a couple sponsors. Then we're going to get into what happened in the basement because Bobby might have to excuse himself from all the poop in his pants. But first, let's thank Dent Heads, because Dent Heads is a awesome spot if you want to bring your car. If you got hail damage, you've got dings, you've got scratches, Dent Heads will help you out. So Dent Heads is in Bloomington. They support our podcast, which is great. So everybody go check out Dent Heads. We do a segment called the Dent Heads Dick of the Week, because what Bobby will say when we wrap up is, you know what, be a good person, don't be a dick. And Dent Heads believes, don't be a dick, just be a good person. So maybe in the Halloween spirit, we always have the don't be a dick of the week. It's probably those Halloween kids who take all the candy, right? They walk up and they take all the candy and they just dump it in their bag. If you're not home and you set out a bowl and they pour it in. But Bobby had a really good thought, is like, he saw a video and is like, it was the what?
Well, it's a kid that showed up and there was no candy left in the bowl. And so the kid, instead of, being pissed off and kicking the bucket away, he put candy out of his bag in the bowl.
So that's like the undick of the week.
The undick of the week. So today in Halloween spirit,
Positivity.
And
And that's what spirits like, right? A little positivity, good energy.
That's what we try to bring when
Yeah.
we do it, because it's like if you go in and you're just like, if you watch the shows, they'll go in and you'll be like, come get me. And it's like, what? I always find that people who do that sort of thing, they're that they actually don't believe. They just think that they look cool in front of like maybe female paranormal investigators or something, and they're trying to show off. Because you get those people who come into the basement like we were and be like, just spouting out such a garbage.
Yeah.
And
all of a sudden, next thing you know, they get scratched. Then it's like, okay, now what do you think about all this?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Okay, so yeah, be a good person. Don't be a dick. Fill up the candy bowl if it's empty.
Yep.
Right, with the
Undick
Not
of the
enough
week.
of it. Your parents are going to throw half of it out anyways.
Right.
Exactly.
We'll put it in our freezer because we have 2 huge freezers.
The other thing we do is the Bobby Finn's and Stoli vodka. Proud sponsor of the pod. Happy to have you. So if you're out at a bar, get a Stoli soda, get a Stoli 7. My dad told me back in the day, everybody knew Stoli as that's the best
Yeah,
vodka.
you got in the Russian.
That's
Stoli?
the good stuff.
It's
Yeah,
not
so
Russian
you got to get Stoli. So we do the Stoli bar review, and Bobby always does a bar review because I don't know if you know Bobby, but he likes to have a couple of cocktails here and there.
Partake.
He likes to partake.
partake.
So you been to any good bars, Bobby, lately? You been to any
this
good
week?
haunts?
We're gonna do Kazi's.
Kazi's, a good
Kazi's,
haunt.
yeah. Oh, it's
Greg
a-
probably drove by on the way in.
Yeah, it's right on
Kazi's.
right on 36. Yeah, that's new owners
okay.
there. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
a good place. They usually wrap up around now for winter, but patio's fantastic in the
wow.
summer.
Is it haunted, you think?
That's an
That
old
place has
shack.
got to be haunted.
That's an old
right?
shack.
That's an old shack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's some dead people there for sure.
All right, so Bobby, do you like that spot now? Okay.
I do.
Or
yes.
maybe you don't like the spot now. What do you
No,
think?
I
It is
think
good
it's nice.
review?
I've been there a couple of times. It's been great.
Good review or bad review? What'd you think?
I think it's good. I think it's a good place to go. The bar area is a little smaller, so you can't have a big group really, and be out in front with all the TVs. But it's not bad.
Okay. All right. So did you have any food there?
The food is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good flatbread?
good flatbread.
All right.
Yeah.
So food, what do you think out of 10?
I'd say 8-7.
8.7. That's pretty good. How about
Yeah.
the service? They got good bartenders, good servers.
Solid. Yeah, I'll give it an 8-8.
8.8. Okay. How about the atmosphere? What's it like in
Atmosphere's,
there?
it depends on the time of the year, to be honest with you. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So the summer it's pretty lively, pretty fun atmosphere. Winter it gets a little sparse.
And it gets a little chilly in there too.
It's a little
They
chilly.
don't have the
You're
best
right.
insulation.
Yeah. So
You go back there and you pray for the table next to that fireplace.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So we're gonna have to split that because it's probably a 8-2 in the winter, and then probably a 9-2. So maybe 8-7.
Okay, so we'll go 8.7. How about you? Probably didn't drink anything when you were there, right?
Oh well, yeah, I had to.
Oh, you did. Okay.
yeah.
Just wanted to check
I
out.
mean, I
Did you
don't
have a
do-
Stoli?
I don't do the month off stuff.
Oh, Jesus, sorry. What'd you have for a cocktail? What'd you drink?
A Stoli soda.
Oh, and what did you rate it?
9-3.
9.3. Okay,
Yeah.
so all in all, we're looking at about a 9, I think, because you got 9.3, 8.8. Okay, and then do they have one of these 4 things, Greg? This is how we rate good bars
Okay.
in Stillwater
I love it.
or anywhere. And some of my friends are like, You ever been to the Butcher and the Boar? They don't have pull tabs. They don't have touch tunes. Bobby's like, go home. I don't
Yeah,
care.
Don't wanna
Yeah,
be
why
there.
would you go?
Do they have golden tea there?
No.
Nah.
Oh.
Do they have touch tunes?
They have touch tunes.
Do they?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
All right. Ding, ding, ding. Do they have pull tabs?
They have pull tabs.
Have you won there?
Probably not.
Do they have Stoli vodka?
They do have Stoli.
Yes. Okay. So they got
3 of the 4.
3 of the 4. So we're looking at about a 9-1. Kazi's down in Stillwater. Check it out. Good little spot. We like to hang out there once in a while. That's the Stoli Bar Review brought to you by Bobby Finn. All right. So, Greg, you took us down to this basement tonight.
Yes.
And this was after you spent all Halloween here last year. There's staircases that have a lot of energy. There's the tiki bar that had a lot of energy. There's the Maker's Market that's got all this energy. And I listened, and if you haven't checked it out, go to 950 AM GhostBox Radio website, and I listened to it. It's kind of spooky, To be honest
Is
with
it?
you. Yeah, you had people everywhere, and you had the lights off, and you had the filtered. What do you call that?
The night vision.
The night vision on. I got a little freaked out. You met a lot of different spirits there as well. I wrote some names down. There was a woman in a Victorian dress you guys talked to. God, what was her name? Flora. It freaked me out. They're like, oh my God, there's a woman named Flora.
Was that Shar talking to her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a guy named, I think it was Kirk as well. Kurt.
Okay.
Freaked me out. I didn't want to talk to Kurt, but you guys talked to Kurt. And there was a lot of activity that night, which was
thank God, because it's live on the air.
It was live on
You
the air.
have something.
Yeah, it was live on the air.
3 hours.
Sound like
And
Al Capone's vault.
What I also liked,
Exactly.
what I also liked, you sent a woman over to the staircase, the back staircase, and we can get a picture of it and put it on the pod. And she did some free writing, I think it was called.
Yep.
And she just wrote down whatever came to her.
Yep.
And she wrote down something about this area had a little kind of a clinic hospital area set up because there was a flood or a mudslide, and you guys didn't know about it. Somebody quick Google searched it while you're on the air, and there was a massive mudslide that happened in 1852 or something.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this. It created half of the land in downtown Stillwater. All this mud, from Lake McCusick, came all the way through, brought in trees and mud and gravel, and created literally probably the land we're sitting on right now. And it brought in basically the entire park area down by the lift bridge as well. And this area, they set up a little hospital spot. And I thought that was really cool. And you're getting that through spirits.
It was the first time she even tried to do it. She has never done the automatic writing before.
Automatic writing.
And so and Shar being someone who is, very much connected to spirit, they'll tell her, try this, and she'll do it. And next thing you know, she's uncovering the fact that there was a mud whatever.
Slide, yeah.
Yeah, mudslide. Those are hard words, apparently.
It's Bobby's favorite drink.
Got
on
mud in your
Christmas.
mouth.
Yeah,
right?
mudslide.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty cool to listen to. So check that out. Stillwater's got a lot of activity. There's obviously the prison down here. There's the old prison, and there's still a guard station downtown off of Main Street that's still
right.
standing.
Yeah.
And that's a spot. My wife and I are going to go do a trolley tour, a haunted trolley tour. So there's a lot of activity down here in Stillwater.
There is, and I really want to do an event over at the Warden House or do something to get in there, because we went out there just to visit and we didn't investigate, but it's you could feel it. You could feel it, and there's the horse carriage place right behind the horse carriage. It's not a garage, right?
Yeah,
But
carriage station, probably something.
Yeah, and it is what is going on in there? So it's fantastic, and you could feel the energy from where the prison was. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for the people living in the condos.
Well, I do too. But also, you talked tonight. You talked to some people that had some affinity to the prison tonight when we were downstairs.
Yeah.
So we walk in to the building, right? Talk to Greg. We're all here. We get the code to go to the basement. We get special access. Thank you to the Grand Garage and the people who own and operate this building. They let us go to the basement. Chris and Bobby are both like, you're going to have to do this without me.
I'll be upstairs.
Well, just tell them the text that you got in regards to that when we were setting this thing
So
up.
we set it up, and I get a text back from one of the owners of Pull Tab, Tom, and he's like, you can go down. Here's how you get the key. You're going to have to go down, go through the back stairs, and then they say when you go down, bring a flashlight. There's dripping pipes. It's scary AF. Good luck to you. And I sent to these guys, and they're like, "We're not going. We'll be up in the studio. We're not going."
Well,
down.
then you got a message that the guy that manages the building is like, as soon as you get down there, you're going to feel like you're surrounded by dead bodies.
Yes, he goes. You're going to
And
feel
I'm
like
like,
you're walking.
that's what got me. I was sitting we were during post production. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So when you started walking down these stairs, we started into this building.
Yep.
I feel like everybody had a little bit of
Chill.
chill
Yep.
and a little bit of a different energy source.
Absolutely. So walking in, and that's why I said to people, because if you remember, I once we got into where the bridal place was. I said, keep track of how you're feeling, because that's important. You know, like if you're feeling energy shifts, or you're feeling like that something is kind of maybe dragging you down or something, because you will feel that. And I felt that as soon as I walked into the bridal place, like, ooh, this is different. And I wanted to see, I don't want to say challenge, because that's not really what it means, but see if anyone else in our group could feel that as well, because we feel it every day, but we don't realize that maybe it has something to do with spirit reaching out in some way. So that's why I wanted to see that. And I mean, I think right away, I think most of us felt something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so we make our way to the basement. There's water on the floor. It's the most basement-y of basements you can imagine, right? It's cinder block walls, brick walls. Probably not cinder
brick
block.
walls.
It's older than cinder block.
120 years old.
Yeah,
Damp.
brick walls,
Yeah.
damp, dark, cobwebs everywhere. Bobby's got a meter on him.
A K2 meter.
A K2 meter. So explain these meters for the audience.
So a K2 meter is kind of the same thing as for those who like use like stud finders and stuff. And if you're trying to figure out where electricity is, it'll start lighting up, let you know it's there. But the idea we're using it for paranormal is that if spirit is around you, they can manipulate it and break the field that's around the K2 so that it will light up. And the one thing that I had said to you all is, because it started lighting up immediately for you, and I said,
It's a stud finder, right?
it's stud finder. Well, you know, let's.
didn't find you, Bobby.
It was pointed the other direction, if you remember. Remember, it was actually pointing towards me, as it happens. If you're gonna, I mean, now that we think about it, that it does make sense.
sense
Yeah,
now,
it makes a lot of sense.
Tons of sense.
Yeah, because remember you pointed at Tom and it stopped
Yeah.
completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it actually It actually was wondering if it was broken at that point.
It went pink, and there's not even a pink light on there.
It just
I go pink.
It kind of started on fire. Yeah, it just lost the will to live. Anyway, so that was the thing where we were getting to the red, which is the top. The green is the lowest, which is always on. It goes up to red, and we was going to red right away. And I said, the way to know if we're actually getting kind of spirit interaction is not just let it go, but can we ask it to go to a specific color?
That's the weirdest thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You started asking it questions, and you found a spot right by the boiler. I think it was a boiler.
Boiler, whatever that thing
And
was.
we've got video, we've got pictures, and we're like, okay, there's Bobby's getting some energy here. And then you
Yep.
started asking it questions, and
Yes.
when you started asking it questions, it started responding.
And because I would be like, can you, okay, because the thing is, it's like, it could be anything. And not that you're going to have internet down in that basement, but there's all sorts of things that could be going through that. And as an investigator, as we do this stuff, I don't want the stuff to go off and just make a razzle dazzle for you all. I want it to be meaningful. I want it to show that this is compelling argument that it could be spirit. So can you only go up to the yellow, which is right in the middle? And as soon as I asked that, it went to yellow. Okay, so now it's going off. It's only going up to yellow like what we said earlier. Okay. Can you just go up to yellow for us, please? See that?
Yes.
Just went up to yellow instead of going back to the red.
Right.
And that's what, if you are someone who is from the prison, can you go to yellow? And it would just go to yellow, because if it's going to the red, it could mean that there's a lot of energy nearby. So if it's spirit, can you back off a little bit? Can you go, can we control this? Not so that it's a dog and pony show for the spirit to try to show you all that they exist, but more like, can we get intelligent responses? Yeah. And that's what I was trying to do with that.
Yeah, intelligent responses is a pretty good way to say it.
It's totally how it is.
Yeah, right. Because like you said, it's burning through all the different frequencies, right? So it pulls up different things, but then it would kind of give you answers or give you some connection back, so you're feeling it.
Absolutely. And to me, that's a lot more impressive than 5 minutes of it going absolutely apeshit to red.
Yeah.
You want it to be like, because I can imagine you're going to be much more impressed if we can kind of show that it can be controlled, opposed to just kind of going crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I would be more suspicious if it would just go
Absolutely. And me too.
Right.
But
Totally.
So what were some of those answers that we got tonight? Remember some of those questions we were
Does
asking?
Tom have a small penis?
No.
I don't remember two at once. Two answers at once.
Couple ghosts up here. No, there was some good questions. The answers are, I mean, it was hard to understand for sure.
Right. And so we're talking about Spirit Box at this point. And so answers come through Spirit Box. The thing is we recorded it, so we're going to listen back to it at some point here soon and see if there actually really is anything that because hearing it live, our minds go all over the place. You know, it could be like, oh, I think that they answered our question, where it could just be like a static bloop, you know, nothing. Or it could even be radio.
Greg, there was a point where you asked one of the spirits, it's like, do you know anybody here?
Yes.
I swear I heard Sally. That's what they call me. My name's Chris Salazar. They call me Sally.
Oh,
I swore. I didn't say anything.
It's funny you say that because I thought one said Finn. I'm not being a dick. It said the same.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I thought. I thought it said you, me as in me.
Yeah.
I heard that. Yeah.
Well, this was.
So
I heard
it's
that. I heard that as well, but at the other point in time, when you said, "Do you know anybody here?" You're like, "Do you know any of the other people here?" That's when I thought I heard my name.
Yeah.
Sally.
But backtrack, and I can't remember at what segment this was, but for 29 and a half years, Greg, I worked at the prison.
Ooh, I didn't make that
would've-
connection. I
would've been
forgot
nice.
about
Yeah,
that.
That would have been nice to know.
He killed the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he killed him. He's fucking haunting him.
Well, and you know, with your permission, if at the time I would have asked if we could have asked to try to bring him through, but maybe that goes two ways. That could either be like, oh, that'd be interesting, see if we could do it, or it could be leave people alone and don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, let's not be
That-
stupid about it.
That's kind of where I was, and I didn't want to bring it up then because I was like,
because you know I would have
Wait till later. Wait till he's at home and
Yeah.
go get him.
yeah, it's just kind of like,
Haunt him.
I'm not
Haunt him
sure
in his
if I
bed.
want to. I'm sure they knew it at the time, and maybe that's why I thought I heard my name.
Well, he knew it. Where are the greatest experiences or spirits that you've ever found?
It's sometimes in my own home when I would do the nightly or the weekly spirit box sessions because as I had mentioned to you both previous that I believe I brought through like Mary Todd Lincoln. And to be able to do that, there is no way that I can confirm it's her or not. I mean, there's no recordings of her voice or anything like that, but it's that intelligent response. We did this thing at the Grand House, which is in Rush City, Minnesota. Have you ever heard of the Grand House?
No.
It's like a
I have.
it's a small
Nobody asked
you.
It just reopened actually.
It opened a couple years ago, yeah. And a friend of mine owns it, or she runs it with the business she works for, and she's a paranormal investigator. So we've gone there, and Shar and I teach classes, and we bring our students to place, and we would take them to the Grand House. And we decided to try some experiments that took place over the whole hotel, over 3 floors, where we were connected through the phone in a spirit box, and we had someone like wrapped up to channel what she was getting in. And we call that 18 minutes because it was an 18-minute recording from start to finish. It encompassed everything, all the equipment, this person channeling who couldn't possibly hear what we were asking, but the responses were so on point. And then someone who we got a name through the spirit box that she couldn't have heard, and it turns out that she says their name, and we're seeing shadows and knocks on the wall and movements and stuff like that. It is like the end all be all for us of paranormal investigation because it was so incredible. And what it ended up being is a young boy who was killed, who died in the pond near the Grand House. There's one right in the backyard, getting reunited with his mother. Mother had crossed, he hadn't, and the immediate question would be like, well, why can't they just see each other? They both have passed. But that is the difference in the planes, where she, for some reason, she can't see. She can't see where this little boy is that she's been searching for, and where the boy can't see where she is. And we're getting, have you ever heard of the term EVP, electronic voice, where you're hearing this disembodied voice through the recordings of this little boy saying Mom and saying Michael, which is his name. She's saying Michael, our channeler is saying Michael. It's coming through the spirit box. It's coming through an EVP. All this stuff starts tying together. That's when it's really exciting, when all these separate pieces come together and they're telling a story. How does that happen?
Right. Oof.
That's deep, scary shit.
That's real deep.
Because I mean, I think most families have went through some tragedy, went a little bit here and there, and my mom lost her brother at a very early age. So when you say that, it brings my grandma, who was a huge part of my life, and like, I mean, I hope hopefully they figured it out.
But those different channels and the different energies and you talk about interdimensional kind of spiritual. There's been a lot of talk about that lately. And there seems to be some truth about that.
And at the end of it all, when we did like the whole recording, they're talking them being Tree, who was the channeler, Shar, and Andrea. They're all talking about, because Tree is now out of the channeling, how exciting it is. And this was after we reconnected Michael to the mother, and all of a sudden this female voice comes through as an EVP. It's over now. And that was because they connected.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's
the
all
two
done.
Connected.
It's all done.
Wow.
And we got her voice earlier. I mean, it's the same voice as well. We get this child voice multiple times. It's the same voice.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. EVP, that was a big thing in the movie Ghost, wasn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever done like a clay pot and had somebody go behind you and like rub your hands in your
I
chest?
was hoping that we would do that tonight.
Oh, Bobby, get behind him.
Go back downstairs.
Tom, you told me that this was happening.
Yeah.
There's the blue carousel up there, and head downstairs.
Man,
Bring a
there's,
bottle of some of
man.
the strongest stuff.
You're all twisted, you know
make
that?
some-
You really are.
Hey,
There's
Greg, are you?
Saki Vana's back down there.
Suckivana, hello.
I believe that every place has spirits.
Has some spirits.
Has something, you know. It's just that not everyone wants to make themselves be known. You know, they just are, whether they travel, I don't know. If they're just
Introverted spirits.
introverted spirits. They're just like watching you when you go to the bathroom. I don't know what they're doing.
So a lot of people live in old houses. Do some people bring out spirits, or if you go in and you're like, "Hey, I'm cool with spirits," like have at it, like no problems. Do those spirits not bother you as much? Like, is there a way to deal with the ghosts of your house?
I think the first and foremost is knowing you have boundaries that you can state. And, you know, that's the first thing that we would probably tell anyone who's asking for our help. It's like, have you asked them not to bother you, not communicate with you, that it's fine if you're here, we just don't want to hear you, see you, or anything like that. And if that doesn't work, then, you know, we have to try other things. But, excuse me.
Like what kind of other things? You throw a little box out, light flashes.
You
suck
do
'em in?
you burn the
sage.
sage and walk around your
Sages.
house?
You know, we try our best. I always call ourselves like spirit negotiators. Like, let's figure out why spirit is still here, not just like get them in and get them out. You know, we did an investigation back in March where we went to a very famous medium in town, and they had problems with spirits. So we went out there to only find that this person would help other people by bringing their loved ones in, but then wouldn't do anything afterwards to get rid of those same loved ones in their space, which is what you're supposed to do.
Brought out the spirits, but then didn't.
But
move them on.
didn't finish the job.
Yeah.
And so
Like
we came
Bobby
out
can't
there.
finish the job.
Yep. He's not disagreeing. So
Just took a drink.
So we went out there and we realized that there was just a spirit there that, first of all, he was a minister. And once again, through my spirit box, we got minister, we got his name, and then we had another device that has words that come up on the screen, and it said minister. And so it started to become like the validation. You're starting to see the correlation. And Shar was also picking up through mediumship this individual. And this individual did not want to cross over because he firmly believed in the religion that that his ministry was based in. So he didn't believe that there should be an afterlife where you could have a choice. He kind of became in a sense, his own martyr, and we were able to explain to him and help move him along. And as soon as we did that, the whole house just was suddenly much lighter.
Where is the creepiest place you would not go?
I'd go anywhere. I'd try anything. Right?
That's what
Really?
Bigfoot said.
Yeah. Well, still could get scared. You got to be careful. But generally, I don't try to anymore because, spirits can attach themselves to you. Have you ever heard of a place called the Villisca Axe Murder House?
But no, I didn't.
It's in Villisca, Iowa, which is on the very south end of Iowa, and you're about 30 miles from Omaha, or from Nebraska, excuse me. And this is a place that in 1912 there was a family of 6 people, and 2 of their friends, so two adults and 4 children, and then add another 2 children that were friends. It was the end of the school year, and they went up to the church that was maybe about 4 blocks up a hill, and they went for the end of school year celebrations or whatever. Meanwhile, when they were there, as the story goes, a man went into their house and waited up in the attic. And so when they all came back from the celebration, they had the rest of their night, they went to bed, and he came out and he killed them all with an axe.
Okay.
And so that's seems kind of implausible, and I think we don't believe it's exactly as that, but I mean, at the end of the day, 8 people were killed.
Yeah.
And it was so big, it took the Titanic, the story of the Titanic, off the front page of the newspaper around the country.
Oh, really?
And Villisca did not have any sort of police. They had peace officers. So while this peace officer is in there trying to figure it out, the whole town came together to help clean up the scene. So there was no forensics, no nothing, and everything was immediately compromised. Jump forward. Now, people said that they had horrible stuff happen in the house all the years that they had lived there, like families and stuff. But at the end of the 20th century, a man bought the house. He also created a museum up the street from there, and he opened it up for investigations, nighttime investigations. That's what investigators who loved the thrill of it all would go in, and they would start conjuring things that they shouldn't conjure.
By conjure, you mean like bring up
dark.
the spirits like
Bring
we
up
did
dark.
today?
No, we don't conjure. We are asking if spirits are there.
Oh, okay.
Dark stuff.
So we're good.
We're
good on what we did.
Yeah, we're. I mean, I don't know. Let me know how you feel in the next couple days. But, it's conjure. Yes, you're doing
Evil.
You're doing.
We did that with the
things you
Ouija
shouldn't.
board when we were
Don't
16.
you conjure, Bobby.
It was pretty aggressive, and it said you will die at 32 in a car crash.
How old are you?
He's 31.
Shh. 31 Chris. Okay, so what happened with the conjuring?
So I call Villisca the STD of the paranormal because you go in there and you never know what's going to come out with you. It's pretty dark. It's pretty nasty in there.
Don't go in.
Well, I mean,
That's a place you might not want to go.
I've been there a couple times.
Do you have a spirit attached to you?
Not now, but when I went there the first time in 2014, it was one of the darkest situations I've ever been in my entire life. It was freaky, And I had a spirit with me for about 3 months afterwards, something with me, something dark, and it started affecting everybody at work.
Really?
Seriously.
You got
Yeah.
spurpies.
Yeah.
Spirit herpes.
Spirit herpes? Did you get spirit herpes?
Apparently so. Because even I'm learning stuff here today.
Spurpies.
Don't ever go there. You get spurpies.
Opposed to sperm peas.
Hey, Greg, we have one of our other producers in studio with us, and she has a question she wants to ask you.
All right.
How can you tell the difference between a spirit and it being a demonic?
It's actually I get that's a great question. It's very simple.
God, she asked one question. It's a great question.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what we've
we
been
haven't
asking.
You've been
asked
trying
one
all
good
night.
question
I'm
yet.
waiting. I've been waiting for the good question from you two. There is, you'll know demonic right away. Demonic people. I don't think people understand because they just think, oh, I'm feeling down. I think it's demonic. You know, literally, that's what people reach out to me sometimes. It's like, I have something in my house I think is demonic. Well, what makes you think that? Well, it just feels off in here. No, demonic. You're not going to be able to talk to people if it's demonic. You're not even going to realize it's demonic because you are in their control. You're in their control. And then there are 4 phases of demonic possession, and one of them is like oppression. The others are just complete control. If someone is under the influence of a demon, it's going to be someone else asking for help, not them, because they are too far gone. You're going to be you're going to notice something, but you're not going to realize that it is you. But it's going to be nightmares, it's going to be terrors, it's going to be stuff happening in your house, there's going to be scratching, there's going to be all sorts of things that you're going to look at it and be like, yeah, this is nasty stuff. But it's not.
What's the movie with the girl in the Catholic Church who gets the demonic takeover?
Exorcist?
Exorcist.
Oh, Exorcist.
Is that real deal?
So I had a demonologist on my program, and it was right at the time that the most recent Exorcist film came out, and I had her on. We're talking about it, and I'm like, same as you. It's not. I mean, Hollywood really kind of makes like the stuff like The Exorcist look pretty.
Yeah.
She goes, no, it's exactly that way.
Come on.
Seriously?
And she's just like, we've had cases where someone who is under the influence threw up railroad nails.
Jesus.
Bobby did that after a night of drinking at the
and,
post.
and mice and mice.
Like the spikes?
Mice.
Like
Yeah, the spikes.
yeah.
Bobby was drinking at the Legion Post one night, hard in the morning. What'd you barf? Was it railroad spikes?
It was railroad spikes and pastries.
So maybe she wasn't under the influence of demonic, but she had one too many Coors.
One too many Jameson ginger ales. Greg, another question for you. Are any of our sports teams haunted? Are they
Oh,
demonic?
God, yeah.
Are
This
they
is a
screwed?
great question.
I mean, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop with the Vikings. That's
Do you think
inevitable.
that they're possessed? They're never going to win a championship? Or are they haunted?
Well, I thought after my parents died that they would have won the Super Bowl, but that didn't work either. So I think that I think that it's a matter of time that we'll be disappointed.
Do we have to sacrifice anything?
I mean, it's worth a shot, is what I say. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what. So let's start just sacrificing random things, and just kind of see where we end up. Right?
Do you think the ghosts of Yankee Stadium are real? Because they always talk about the ghosts of that stadium, right?
Well, they talked about the curse of the Bambino.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they talked.
which ended.
Curses and ghosts,
Yeah.
similarities.
Yeah, the goat and or Chicago.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Cubbies.
What do we got here?
We've got the
Spurpies.
we got Spurpies.
A lot of it.
We got to go back to Iowa and get rid of your Spurpies.
I have one more question before we move on. I'm sorry.
Did you say MUFON?
Move
No,
on
sorry.
to the next topic. Have you ever witnessed an exorcism before?
They don't let us do that. And I would love to.
Really? I don't know if I'd want to.
I want to fuck you.
Yeah. But that's exactly what would be said. That's exactly the sort of thing that would have been said.
Yeah.
But it would have been to your mom if you're under it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's how
evil.
messed up it
It would've
is.
been
Mom, I
evil
do
and-
not want to do that.
Evil and demonic.
I mean, it's just. I mean, I have wanted to be a demonologist, which even demonologists aren't allowed to see exorcisms. You might get people who think that they know what they're doing and try one and learn the hard way that you don't know what you're doing. But I would love to. And there's a great film, actually by the director of The Exorcist, done in like 2017 or something, called The Devil and Father Amort. It's just it's not a film. It's a documentary.
Yeah, it's a children's book.
It is, and wait to see what happens to them. It's messed up. There's a lot of messed up concepts in that. So, but I would love to see it because everything I hear about it defies like everything. I mean, it just makes no sense. What the levitation, the speaking languages that they've never spoken before. These people never spoken before. The cuts and bruises that come out of nowhere. The vomiting. I don't need to see that. But there's just so much to it, and just the strength that these people have when they are under the influence, and you start giving them like anything religious. It's unbelievable. It truly is incredible. And unlike, The Exorcist, one thing to get right, it's not one time they do it and they're done. Sometimes it takes years where they just keep working a little way at it. And there's a great book, and I had the author on many times. It's not based on a true story. It is a true story. It's called The Holy Water Incident, and it's about his daughter who played with the Ouija board and ended up having...
See, Bobby, that's why you don't mess with this shit. You wanted to bring a Ouija board with you.
So
That was me in the woods with you.
I would have left immediately if you brought that.
Should you mess with Ouija boards or not?
You want to hear my Ouija board story?
Yeah, give us a Ouija
We're
board
gonna-
story.
this is
and
gonna
we're
be a
out.
two-parter.
And then wrap it up. Yep.
So, as a paranormal investigator, I don't think Ouija boards are necessarily... I don't call them Ouija boards. I call them Ouija boards because I'm too lazy to
Did
actually
you just say the
sound
same
it.
thing?
Oh, Ouija board.
Ouija.
Oh, Ouija board.
Oh, Ouija. So I was like, I want to experience trying it because I don't believe that they're bad. It's all about intention. Other people say they don't like it because you kind of lose control. So of your own. So I ended up getting one. Once again, I went to that hollowed paranormal store known as Amazon, and I got myself from the makers of all good things paranormal, Hasbro. And I end up getting one of these, and since then I have about 7 Ouija boards now, and one's like over 100 years old, and other things. But I got this one, and I put it out on the table in front of me. I get the planchette. That's that little thing that gets around. I'm like, okay, here we go. Is there anyone here right now? And I wait, and nothing happens. I'm like, yeah.
Were you by yourself?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're not supposed to do it by yourself.
Oh, thank you for now telling me how it works. Jesus. You're talking about ghosts having sex with you, and now suddenly you're the sage. Yeah. Christ.
You can't say Christ.
He's an exorcist. He can do it.
So the next day, I'm at work, which itself was amazing, and I'm in the cube. I'm sharing with the person I share my cube with. That was a long way of saying that. And the phone rings, and I look on the phone, and the phone number is area code 952-666, and 4 other numbers.
Nope.
And that was literally my response. I ain't answering that. And I thought that was the end of it. And then they left a voicemail. And do you want to hear it?
Yes.
I want to fuck your mother.
Stop. He's going to actually play it. He's got it on his phone.
Let's see here.
That.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm over here doing the sign of the cross.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's maybe not a bad idea. See if we can hear this.
Put it up to your mic.
Yeah, he's got it.
All right. Here we go. This.
How dare you?
Play it again.
Play it
What?
again. What did it say? How dare you?
How
What?
dare you?
How dare you?
There's like this folklore, I don't believe, that if you play this stuff, wherever you play it, it becomes immediately like haunted, full of demons. But we don't talk about that right now.
Oh my
no.
God! Sir. I work in this studio every day.
But I don't. So
Oh, Greg, that's really good. What do you think it said? Do you have
absolutely.
Have you played it backwards?
You know, I never played it backwards, but I always thought that it said it's two things. First, her first part is "How dare you," and the second part is two things. I believe one is "Let me out again" and "Let me out of here." Now, so I reached. That's when I called him back. Then I had to call him back because it's just like you can't just do that.
Right.
Number doesn't exist.
Did you see I'm not ghosting you?
Yeah, right.
It was
Well,
a 666
They didn't
number.
answer, so I couldn't say that.
It was a 666 number.
Why
was-
would you call it back?
Because
He's got to know.
you have to know. You can't just be like, because first of all, what if it's just some amazingly timed coincidence of someone pranking you? So it's like, I got to call back. And I mean, if she would have answered or something would have answered, I don't know what I would have said. Like,
See you soon.
yeah, are you demonic? You know?
Ugh.
So I called the phone company.
I got the chills.
I called the phone company afterwards, and they're like, there are no 666 numbers in our area code of that area code.
Ooh.
So jump forward about a year and a half, and I was dating someone, and she was
Real.
She was real. She wasn't a ghost, which was a nice change of pace. So I don't normally go that way.
Greg, I'm sorry.
So-
put up with this.
So, and we would travel around the country doing paranormal events. So we were all over the place, and us being smart people as we are, decided to do one of those spirit box sessions live on Facebook. And so we set up another camera, and on the camera was her voodoo doll and that Ouija board that we've had, and I hadn't used it since. And so I would play back that voicemail, like, this is you. Can you come through again? Can you leave another voicemail? Can you do this? Can you do that? And nothing happens. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I didn't expect anything to happen. Then around 7 a.m. the next morning, bang, huge crash. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And Christy was like, well, it's probably Linus, my cat. I'm like, well, Linus is right there on the bed. So I go downstairs, and everything that's on top of my refrigerator has been thrown to the ground. And it's not like there's not a decline to the fridge, and it's not like a shaky fridge where for the past, 10 years, this stuff I haven't moved is slowly finding its way down. There is no reason that should have happened. And that was pretty crazy that was the next day. That's my world.
We have some other stories too. I just
Yeah, dang.
like from people around here that are the exact same thing.
The Ouija
Bottles
board.
flying off the bars for no reason. I mean, it's
Yeah,
pretty
towers of plates crashing.
Yeah.
These are different establishments around
Yeah,
town.
Melt Pizza down here that used to be Ruby Begonia's very haunted place. Anyway, Bobby, take us home, brother.
All right.
This has been fun.
Yeah, it's been great. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank
The
you.
tour was fantastic. I mean, all this stuff is creepy as believe, but it's interesting. There's no doubt. I think everybody always has something in their head that they're like, oh, what else is there? Right?
Absolutely.
So it's, but thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure.
Check out Greg on GhostBox Radio, AM 950, nightly. correct?
Nightly, Monday through Friday at 10:05 it starts at.
Okay, check it out.
Awesome. Check that out. But thank you all for listening. As usual, we can be heard on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and all other platforms. We don't have our own channel yet, so we don't have, So
Yeah, we don't have a nightly show,
we
weekly
don't have,
show.
We don't have that. So
we have a couple times a month.
couple times a month. But you can hear all the platforms where you get your podcast. Please like and subscribe and tell a friend about us. Just like I learned growing up on the East Side, work hard. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Tell it like it is. Help your neighbors. Try to be contribute in a positive way. Laugh, be a good person, and most of all, don't be a dick.
And don't tell ghost stories that aren't true.
Don't play Ouija board.
Don't play the Ouija board. Thanks, Greg.
Or you can.
We are out.
Thanks, Greg. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Straight talk on the east side in a world gone sideways. Bobby Finn on the mic, dropping truth. No need to play nice. A podcast.